This daf Yerushalmi Terumos in the article Oz V'Had edition, around Daf Chav Zayin and Ral at the first two dots, the second line. I bet you there's no header in the Vilna on Tezvav Amral. So we'd start with Rabbi Yaakov Baracha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down. Rabbi Yaakov Baracha Shem Rabbi Yochanan. And neglected to mention this for yesterday's shir, but we're still in the middle of the war, which is close for Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael and Soon Basara of Shivya. So, Atayim using the article's header. Excuse me. Atayim Chavish Shel Yayin Mechuli. Rabbi Yaakov Baracha b'Shem Rabbi Yochanan. For some reason, he takes the article of Kavanok, he takes out this whole line. Rabbi Yaakov Baracha b'Shem Rabbi Yochanan, Locha Ketivei Rebbe. Locha is like Rebbe. So Rabbi Chia b'Shem Rabbi Yochanan said, the Rebbe he. He said that the town of our Mishnah, who says that ain't no truma, even if you know that it's vinegar, it's Rebbe, who said yayin and chometz are two minim. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi argues and holds that it's one min, but the chatchila you don't take from chometz and yayin, but the other is truma no matter what. So our Mishnah is Rebbe and our Lach is like Rebbe. So when it's said in our Mishnah, that's shetarma chmitza, harezu truma. Then eino truma is going like Rebbe, holds that it's two different meaning, whereas therefore we say it's not truma. In other words, you do it from this barrel of chametz, another barrel of wine, obviously. That's it's not truma. And according to Rabbi Yossi, would be truma b'diavad. Okay, Rabbi Bar Kum Rabbi Yossi, Loken Rabbi Chia Bar Abba Shem Rabbi Yochanan, Rebbe v'Chavero halacha k'Rebbe. It says here Chavero in the Kavanaki v'Chaverov in the regular Gemara. I don't know if anybody changes it here. Rashi really has Rabbi Chavero. Anyway, the question is, what's the difference between, why did he have to tell us here halachas like Rebbe? If we know anywhere halachas like Rebbe. Avan Rabbi Yehuda said, I feel Rebbe ate some Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, even the Rebbe by Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, who's always, halacha is always like him. So why here that it's not against Rebbe? So why here you have to say specifically also Rebbe? I'm going to begin the time of Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi Shem Aviv. So because Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi said it in the name of his father that it's min echad, and we know that the cases, I forget where the case is offhand, but the case is when Rabbi Shmuel said something in the name of his father, Rabbi Shmuel Yossi said something in the name of his father in front of Rebbe, and it was against Rebbe's stock, and Rebbe said, for Hora Zaken and Pascha Rabbi Yossi, even though, as the Gemara says, Rabbi Yossi was still alive, he would be kafuf before Rebbe, but nevertheless, this is the anav of Rebbe to Pascha like Rabbi Yossi over himself. So it says Vam Rabbi Yossi but here the Yerushalmi says differently. It says since Rabbi Yossi b'shem Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yossi chaverov halacha Rabbi Yossi mi chaverov. When you have Machlishim Rabbi Yossi and his chaverim halachas like Rabbi Yossi. Lotis born meimar avhacha kain. You shouldn't think that here this is also the case. And again, I think that the reason why I would think this is also the case is because Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, because of that, the Gemara would say that he was mevatel das in front of Rabbi Yossi. That's a special case, obviously. Right? It was the front of Ifnei Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi. It was in public, whatever the case may be, is in order to be demonstrated anova. But normally, Rebbe, you say that normally Rabbi Yossi and Rebbe, the halacha is like Rebbe, and therefore in this case, the halacha is like Rebbe. Rabbi Sir, Rabbi Yaakov, Bar Idi, B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Shimon. What's the topic of who's halacha like? Going through a few of them. When you have Machlokes Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Vein Tzolach Mar goes without saying, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. All these cases are true, except for the exceptions. Bar Yaakov Bar Idi, B'Shem Rabbi Yonason said, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Shimon. Same thing. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Shimon. Vein Tzolach Mar, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Minat Shaman, from this you derive that Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, halacha ke Rabbi Yehuda. So since you have Rabbi Meir said and Rabbi Shimon halacha Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, halacha is Rabbi Yehuda. From this you hear that Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. I'm not sure we derive that exactly. I guess because it says "Ain't Tzorich Lomar." That's what Gamnaki says. I don't guess. Gamnaki says "Ain't Tzorich Lomar." Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda. Ain't Tzorich Lomar. Why you don't have to say it? Because we know that Rabbi Shimon, because we know Rabbi Shimon, is like Rabbi Yehuda. So Ain't Tzorich Lomar. You don't have to say. It goes out saying that Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda over Rabbi Meir. So from that we know Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda over Rabbi Shimon. Okay, now we're going to the next part of the Mishnah. No, it's called the header is in Safek Truma. In Safek, we're not sure. Truma v'yachzor v'yitrom. So this Gemara says, how do you do it? How do you you give both of them to the Kohen, both trumas. The Kohen knows the Kohen pays him for one of them. What is he paying for? To make tana? Does it pay him for the larger amount or the smaller amount? Since we said in the case of both of them fell in to one spot, it's midame according to the smaller of the two. So that means that the Kohen only has the right to the smaller of the two, but for the bigger of the two, he has to pay. Now, I don't assume you can't get a Kohen to pay, you have to give it to him anyway. But theoretically, the Kohen should pay for the larger amount. Okay, and that, so the Gemara says that next Gemara goes on. Oh, the Lacha base. Sorry, Lacha base Mishnah. Hashufim Shtarim was Ze'achar Zeh. Shumim Utarim one after another. They didn't know. One's time after the other one. Kiva Truma Shneim is a Truma. Chama say the Truma, right? Kiva says Truma, both of them is Truma. Chama Truma Sarishon Truma, only the first Truma is Truma. Yosem Tarim Rishon Kashir, the first one was Tarim according to the proper amount. Ain't Truma Sashen Truma. Second one Truma is not Truma. No Tarim Rishon Kashir, if the first one did not take Truma according to the proper amount, then Trumas Hasheni, she Truma. Then the Truma of the second one is Truma. Okay, that is Mishnah Gimel, now Mishnah the Dalet. Let me just say something here. Yeah, the Gemara's going to explain what the Shir means. Yeah. Mishnah, Bamed Varmon B'Shalo Diber. What are we talking about? We're talking about where nobody spoke to each other, right? So that's how it happens. The first one did not take reshus from his friend to return him. He did it on his own initiative. However, here's was ben beso. But if somebody designated a member's household, or his avdo, or his slave, his servant, or shivchaso, male or female, and certainly his shutaf to be torem, chumas or chuma, then the chuma of the chuma of the shliach or the shutaf is the chuma. And even Rabbi Kiva not disagree in that case. Bitel, what if he nullified the shlichus? Machlotar bitel, if before the shliach took off the truma is mevatel, ain't chumas the truma. In that case, Rabbi Kiva's halacha will kick in presumably, and be both of them the truma in the case of shutfit. We should tarm bitel if after the truma taken off he was mevatel the shlichus or mevatel the consent or whatever it was. So then, in that case, chumas the truma. The truma is valid truma. Okay, then finally the Mishnah goes on. Hapolim and lemeshus litrom, workers who are doing malacha in the grain at the time when it's being smooth, or fruit at the time of malacha, even though the time to take shumas come, we assume they don't have the right to take a shumah for the balabas, chutz me'ajuchos, except for people who are pressing grapes. That the we assume that the balabais wants to make sure everything's done matara, and therefore they're allowed to take as the as the grapes are pressed, because because there are a lot of people who are tamei, evidently, even the juchos themselves are not tamei, and then people are not going to be careful to tamei the wine, because the sum truma is already taken, so truma is taken immediately by the juchos on the spot, by the pouring. The juchos are pouring. So now we go back in the Gemara to the first part of the Mishnah, to the Shutim case. So what are we talking about? Memachin means, normally you think that memachin means to make a mecha, but here it means based on Lashon Mimcho Eitzel Chenvoni. The Mishnah in Bab Metzia Perek Tes Mishnah base. It means each one relies on his friend. Each one relies on his friend. Af Rabbi Akiva Moide, so then Rabbi Akiva should be Moide, just like the Seifa of the Mishnah, that the Truma of the real person should be Truma. V'yim, we're talking about a case, B'shei Machin, that they don't rely on each other. Af Rabbanim Moide, the Rabbanim should be Moide, that they should both be Truma. Elakenu Kem B'Stam. So the answer is that we're talking about a generic case. We don't know if they're Machin or not. They don't know if they're Machin or not, I guess. In a generic case where nobody said anything, no one's clarified, Edom and Machin don't rely on each other, and therefore it tells too much name Truma. For Rabbi say Stam and Machin. Yes, Mistama, we say they rely on each other, and therefore only the Truma, the first one is Truma, not the second one. Okay, that brings us to the topic of Ches Amud Aleph, and that was, it's nice, easy, Baruch Hashem was nice, easy, black, and we will stop here for today.